You're watching NBA Now here on Chat Sports. I'm Harrison Graham alongside Jimmy Crowther, and we're breaking down the boycotts of the NBA playoff games today because it started with the Milwaukee Bucks for Game 5 against the Orlando Magic, Jimmy. They did not return to the court after warm-ups, and the Magic basically joined them. That game will not be played, and now neither will the rest of the games for today.
Yeah, we were supposed to also see Oklahoma City and the Houston Rockets go up against each other in Game 5. We were also about to see Game 5 between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Portland Trailblazers as the late game. They have all officially decided they are going to boycott. The NBA responded with saying, hey, we're just going to postpone these games ourselves. We will reschedule. The timing of that reschedule, up in the air, just like everything else in the NBA world as it gets put on hold thanks to these NBA boycotts. I am very, very surprised. Did not see this happening. Thought we were going to get into work today and then watch a little bit of NBA basketball. And, you know, everything else happening in the world, players said it's not the time nor the place. We're not going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, you were flipping on Bucks Magic, and the game never started because they decided to boycott. And this, of course, this boycott being due to the Jacob Blake shooting up in Wisconsin, just to be very clear for those of you who may be unclear on that. So what is your one-word reaction to the NBA playoff protest? Started by the Bucks, but joined by pretty much just everybody else at this point. Let us know what your one-word reaction is.
Yeah, we've already seen big-name players around the league stand up and say, we're tired of it. We want the change, and they have announced tonight that NBA players will meet within the bubble and say, listen, we're going to figure something out. We're going to determine what our next steps are, and the players are going to be the ones making the call. Of course, the NBA is going to have to step in logistically somewhere if the players decide, look, we're going to play these games. Adam Silver will step up, try to make some kind of logical next move, but who knows what in the world that is. Also, 3 games supposed to be going tomorrow, probably not going to happen.
Yeah, and when guys like LeBron James and Donovan Mitchell, these aren't the 7th guys off the bench boycotting games. You're talking about superstars in the league saying, we're tired of this. We're going to fight for social justice here and equality for all, which was a big thing with the NBA returning in the first place in response to the George Floyd killing back in late May, I believe. And that's been a big theme. You've seen everybody wear Black Lives Matter t-shirts. The Black Lives Matter text has been on the NBA court. And now after the Jacob Blake shooting, players have decided they've had enough, Jimmy. And it starts today with the Milwaukee Bucks setting the tone by saying, we're not going to play Game 5. And now the other 5 teams on the schedule today have followed in suit.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a player's call. I'm very interested to see what the next step is. I never thought it would come to this, but we even saw players before the bubble express concern that, hey, it's not just about, Corona at this point. It's not just about our health, but guys like Kyrie Irving before the bubble got started said, maybe, guys, we sit this one out. Maybe we let the season play out without us and we stand up for change in our communities. Obviously, that didn't happen at the time. They stood up for change by taking a knee during the anthem, putting Black Lives Matter on the court as well. But now they're taking a stand by saying, we're not playing playoff games, not just regular season games, not preseason games. We're not playing playoff games altogether. And it all kind of started out with Adrian Wojnarowski, Shams Charania tweeting out the news as it came in.
Yeah, this one from Woj. NBA owners and front offices didn't see this wave of player boycotts coming today. Hours ago, they all expected to play these games tonight. This is a pivot point for the NBA and professional sports in North America, and I think it is a thing to talk about, Jimmy, because as the players meet tonight, if they decide something significant of we're not playing, how does the league respond? Where do they go from there? Because if you got guys like LeBron and all these stars, it's one thing when Colin Kaepernick, who was a fringe starting quarterback at the time when all this stuff went down in the NFL, when he took a knee and made his stance, okay, what if a guy like Patrick Mahomes did it, though?
Right.
What if a guy like LeBron James said, I'm not playing anymore? What is the league's response? The next 24 to 48 hours are critical juncture for the NBA to try and figure out where they go from here because I don't think anybody knows right now.
Nobody knows. I mean, all of 2020 has been one big guessing game, and now the NBA is thrown into that loop as well. They're going to do what they see best. The players are going to make the call and talk to, I'm sure, some of the NBA executives like Adam Silver, the commissioner of the entire league. And I've even seen that the Milwaukee Bucks are trying to get their local government involved in what's happening around the NBA. And, they're doing what they can and what they feel is right. So we're going to pose this question to you. We're going to make you make the decision. If you were in their shoes, and it's hard to put yourself in the shoes of NBA players, but if you were, would you play or would you boycott? We're asking you that question right now in the live chat. If you're watching on YouTube, comment down below.
And for those of you who may be watching Chat Sports for the first time as we break this news, I'm breaking news videos. We get a lot of new viewers and audience. What we do is we like you guys to interact. We like you guys to give us your comments, and we give you guys shout-outs like we will right now. Zach and Daffy both said they would play. Mark says in. I'm guessing that means boycott or wouldn't play. Love says boycott. Jose says play. Money says boycott. Pretty even split there, Jimmy, as you guys continue to get your votes in. Amazing says play. So continue to cast your votes. Again, all of today's games have been boycotted. That leaves us to tomorrow, Jimmy. What happens tomorrow? Because as of right now, all we know is that today, Wednesday, no playoff games, which Game 5 against Bucks Magic, Game 5 Lakers, Blazers, and then Thunder Rockets, all boycotted, all postponed. This is tomorrow's schedule, a critical Game 6 between the Nuggets and Jazz and Clippers and Mavericks, and then the first Game 1 of the second round between the Celtics and the Raptors. Projecting ahead, I think you got to assume that these games don't happen tomorrow.
Nah, I don't think there's any chance they do. If they do, I mean, what was this boycotting all for? If they just turn around and play the very next day. Yeah. Game 5s, like you said earlier on the show, they're going to get moved to at the earliest Friday. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the whole weekend played out and everything gets going at the start of next week around Monday. I think that gives teams time to digest what's happening. It gives the NBA time to really make a plan for what's happening. It gives NBA players a chance to monitor what's happening in the real world and around their communities and be active on social media. Or in some cases, we may see guys leave the bubble altogether and say, I'm going to go out and protest with my fellow Americans and stand with them and unite in this whole thing.
So let us know, will games be played tomorrow? 1 for yes, 0 for no. I'll get a couple of shout-outs here. Lots of 0 so far. Amarian Bond says 0. Shelly says 0. And I think that's pretty clear, Jimmy, that these games are not going to happen tomorrow. I think the earliest we see basketball is Friday. And I'm kind of starting to lean towards you in the thought of maybe the play is, let's regroup, let's reset, nothing until Monday. Let's get through the weekend. Let's meet as players tonight. Let's meet as owners. Let's come together and meet and talk about what is the plan moving forward. And what you guys are seeing on screen is obviously a compilation of some of the photos, both in the bubble and over recent years as well. Remember when LeBron wore the I Can't Breathe shirt a couple of years ago. So you've seen major athletes, both present and past, fight for social injustice throughout history, but it seems like it's never been louder than it is right now.
No, it definitely hasn't. And I think the biggest reason for that is the fact that NBA players are uniting together to do this as a whole, and the NBA executives are backing them in their decision. If this was just a players versus executives who hold all the power, this might be a totally different story. But we're seeing change really attempt to happen around the world. And Harrison, I mentioned this just a minute ago, but I'm going to bring it up once again. The NBA is not the only professional sports league being played right now. We just watched the Detroit Lions not forfeit their practice, but protest basically during their practice, decided not to play. The NHL playoffs are going on right now. That could be completely forfeited or postponed. The MLB regular season's underway. We are seeing potentially change happen across North America in the sports world.
There's no doubt about it, and we want to ask you this question because outside of hockey, this is the only playoffs happening right now. Are the playoffs over? As of now, today's games have been postponed. That's all we know. We don't know what's happening tomorrow. We don't know what's happening with the rest of the playoff schedule. We definitely don't know what's happening, how it affects next season as of now. Y for yes, N for no. Cast your votes in the comment section. Let us know. And like you mentioned, Jimmy, this isn't just the NBA. You saw the Detroit Lions boycott their training camp practice on Tuesday. Now, a training camp practice versus a Game 5 in the NBA playoffs.
Different story.
Different spectrum there. Different level of importance, I would say. But, from the NFL standpoint, things would change if this happened on into the regular season, if actual games got boycotted. So we'll see if something were to happen, in the next month or so once the NFL gets going. But the Detroit Lions did boycott their practice yesterday. That's kind of domino affected, in my opinion, to the NBA today as playoff games have been boycotted.
Yeah, and now, Detroit Lions, like you said, training camp, small domino to fall. NBA playoff games, 3 of them and potentially 6 of them by the end of tomorrow, a gigantic domino to fall for athletes really across all of America. I'm very, very interested to see what happens. I'm interested to see what happens with practices now even. I mean, we saw, I know the Clippers and the Dallas Mavericks did not practice this morning, but that was just due to some rest after the game. No word of if that had anything to do with the protest. But now, will practices even happen around the NBA tomorrow if there are no games? Do you keep them fresh, or what is going to happen? And listen, just let me know what you guys think in the comment section, if you guys think it'll be played or not. And this is what we do at Chat Sports. We do the breaking news. We talk about the NBA. We talk about the NFL. We'll talk about anything and everything on this channel, and we don't want you guys to miss any of it. So best way to make sure you don't miss it, subscribe and join really the best sports YouTube community on the entire internet.
Yeah, look, here's the deal. For those of you who don't normally watch us, we like to have fun. Sometimes we can't have fun.
We gotta be
have
serious
to talk
sometimes.
about the serious issues that are going on intertwined in sports, like today in the NBA protesting games due to social injustice. And but I promise you, we do a lot of fun videos, whether it's NFL coverage, NBA coverage, some other sports as well. We encourage you to subscribe.